How do you deal with negative employees? And not just negative employees, but employees who are out there to jeopardize you. They don't want the firm to succeed, they are toxic. So when it comes to employees in an organization, they can be grouped into three. The employees who are engaged, that's the first group, and I'll explain. There are those who are not engaged, and lastly, they are the disengaged employees. So let's look at each. When we say an employee is engaged, these are staff who are very passionate about their work. You don't have to micromanage them. They are responsible. You don't have to keep looking at what they are doing. The quality of their work is good. They are happy. And even when there are issues, they bring them to your attention. So this is an engaged employee. And probably they understand what you want to achieve, the mission, the vision, and they are with you all along the way. Then we have those employees who are not engaged. And I would say these are the majority of the employees, 60%. So these ones, they turn up in the morning, they do a job, they'll do a fair job, and most likely they're there for the pay. If things are working, you're not colliding, they're okay. And if the crowds are not dark, that's also okay for them. So those employees, they're really not passionate as the first group, but they're not causing you trouble. Then the last group, and this is the group I want us to discuss today, they're those ones who are actively disengaged. And you'll find these are employees who, for one reason or another, they are not happy with the organization, or they could also not be happy. There are things which are happening at a personal level, and you find they've been able to disconnect with you and the organization and even the other team members. And once in a while, it's possible, even us who are in leadership, sometimes we disengage, we feel things are not working. But as opposed to where someone is not feeling happy, the employees who are actively disengaged, they are out there to jeopardize. They are out there to cause trouble for you and others. And you'll find there are not so many employees. The funny thing is there are not so many employees. Just like the engaged employee, you find the engaged employees, they're normally 10 to 20%. The majority of the staff are in the middle, and the disengaged, they're also not very many. However, if you don't deal with their behavior, it can have very many negative consequences to your business and even to your department. Some of these negative consequences are low employee morale. Because if there's someone causing trouble, there's someone backbiting others, there's someone talking ill of the organization, then the employee morale will be affected. Then the other thing is there's a possibility of high staff turnover, especially if it's the manager, because also managers can also be disengaged. So if it's the manager causing trouble, you might find people are leaving that department. You might also find if the person who's disengaged are dealing with customers, you might find that you're losing customers, loss of customers. Yeah. And generally, let me say, when it comes to toxic employees who are actively disengaged, the biggest drawback is them making the work environment to be toxic. So the question today then is, what is the most effective way to deal with negative and toxic employees? So if you're a manager or supervisor to someone that is always negative at work, how are you going to handle this situation? And I have 5 tips for you that I believe if you apply, you'll be able to handle this situation in a better way. And the first tip is always address the issue as soon as possible. Sometimes us as managers or business owners, we see something happening and we say, okay, this is the first time it's happening. I'll address this if it becomes a repeat behavior. However, what you're doing by not addressing the issue as it happens is that either you're sending a message to this person who's being toxic that, it's okay. So address the situation as it happens there and then. So if it's someone, they are rude in a meeting, they become sarcastic, they are negative, call them aside at that time. Don't wait for the other meeting to say, let me see how this person is going to behave. Then the other thing, the second point is you should listen to understand. Why? Because we are all human beings. Sometimes it may not even be a work issue that is making this person to be worked up. Maybe it's an issue which is happening at a personal level. As a leader or a boss, we need to be emotionally intelligent to understand that there could be other triggers outside of work. So someone is fighting with their spouse, or they are having financial issues. They could even be sick and you don't know, and that is why they are reacting. That's why they are becoming toxic. So if you listen to understand, then you'll be able to go use my tip number 3, which is learn to manage your own negativity and biases. Why? Simply because someone has interjected in a meeting, it doesn't mean they mean ill of the department or of the organization. So if you as a manager or leader, your thought is my staff should never to speak in a meeting, they shouldn't ever have a contrary view, then you need to check yourself first. So if you're able to do that, if you're able to check your biases, you engage the staff in an open manner, you understand, you engage them in an open fashion so that you're able to listen to understand them, then you'll be in a better position to handle the situation. And then when you've listened, allow this staff member or employee to respond. Okay? Give them a chance also. Don't come strongly to them. Get to understand where are you coming from, what is happening, and by giving them time to explain themselves, by giving them time to tell the part of their story, then you'll have given them an opportunity, and it will not be just looking things from your own end. And before you even allow them time to respond, or you even listen to understand, or even do you manage your own biases, it's also very important for you, when you're giving them feedback, when you're addressing the issue, to cite specific behavior. So it's not enough to come and tell a person, oh, Perminus, I don't like the way you behave in meetings. That's not enough. Or I don't like the way you handle customers. Or I don't like the way you talk to your juniors. No. So be specific. For example, you can tell them, I heard the conversation you're having with your junior, and yes, even if the junior was on the wrong side, that is not how you handle a conversation in a professional setup. You don't go and tell people about their tribes, or that you've been looking at them and seeing that they're useless and they have nothing to offer. So if you're giving feedback to that manager, let the manager know that that's not the way to behave in a professional setup, and you require them to behave in a different manner. So the more specific you are, the better. So I believe with those 5 pointers, you'll be in a better position to be able to address negative and toxic employees. And if I can summarize for you, is number 1, make sure you address the issue as soon as possible when you see it happening. Then cite specific behavior. Learn to manage your own negativity and biases. Listen to understand, because factors could be internal or external factors making this person react. And lastly, allow this individual or employee time to respond. So managing people is really not an easy task. But if you possess the right soft skills, including leadership and conflict management skills, then you'll find it much easier to deal with the day-to-day employee issues. We do offer leadership training here at Corporate Staffing Services, and I've seen managers and even business owners, be able to handle the employee issues in a better way. So I have more details for you on this course, and there's a link below that you'll find more information on what you have to offer. Until next time, please subscribe for more tips on how to manage your department or business better.